right now, the honest truth is you probably lack the skills that you need to actually build an online business. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down why that is completely fine and completely normal. I want to take you back to where it all started for me. In my first few years of online business, as becoming an online entrepreneur, I was creating e-com stores, right? So I was building dropshipping stores. I was selling this moon lamp, and somehow, by luck, honestly, it was luck because I had no clue what the fuck I was doing, I managed to make like 30K in my first couple of months. Now, from there, naturally, I kind of went through the dropshipping space, realized how hard it was and how difficult it was, and then actually landed on a new business where I would essentially build dropshipping stores for other people. So I sold these stores for like $1,000, $2,000. Everything was going well. I actually managed to make close to 100 grand doing this. And you know, I was still in my first year of online business. So crazy results. And I was just blown away. But this was the first time I'd ever started making money. And this was the first time that I'd even built a business before. So I got hit with some pretty hard lessons. Now, when I was building these stores, I was building these dropshipping stores using Shopify, loading them up with products and giving them guides on how they can actually start selling and how they can start running ads. But what I quickly came to realize was I was spending all day building these stores. And although the money was coming in, I was sat at my desk for 16, 17, 18 hours per day, and I had no life. So what happens if you have no life? Well, you need to go and find another life that you can pay. And that is exactly what I did. So I actually started delegating some tasks and some of the build out to individuals that I would find on Fiverr. And they were then coming into the business. They would build these stores for me. And it meant that I had some time back to focus on other things. Now, cut a long story short, I had no clue what else I needed to focus on at that time because, like I said, I was new to business. I really didn't have any idea in terms of like what I needed to do online to make more money. And the business ended up failing. What you will find is inside of every single business that you start, you'll pick up these different lessons and you'll pick up these different skill sets or these different ideologies or methods. And for me, inside of that business, it opened my eyes to delegation, right? So the task of handing out projects and handing out work to someone else to bring you back more time to focus on the stuff that's more important. And that is the key word of today's video. And this is what I really need you to focus on in 2024, over the next 6-12 months. You need to focus on this. And I promise you now, if you do, everything will start to change for you and everything will fall into place. Now, in this video, we will be going through a ton of different reasons why delegation is so important, how we delegate, and how we also find people to delegate to. So make sure you stick around for that. But let's kick things off with, I know you guys are on this channel predominantly building an AI automation agency, right? Just like us, we are building an AI agency. We're in the thick of it. We're in the trenches day by day, building out our own agency. And I know you guys are doing the same. So right now, you're probably sat there trying to learn how to do sales. You're probably sat there trying to learn how to do service delivery. You're trying to learn no-code platforms. Maybe you're even doing some coding. You're also likely building a website. Maybe you're trying to create content online. And all of these different things are going on at the same time. And Neuron makes it impossible for you to know where to focus your time and energy. Now, maybe you're not building an agency. Maybe you've got an e-commerce store and you're trying to learn how to product research, and you're trying to learn how to build a Shopify store, and you're trying to learn how to run paid ads, and you're trying to learn how to do TikTok organic and reaching out to influencers and all of this other stuff. And yes, it is possible, and yes, it is manageable, but is it the best use of your time? The short answer is no, it really isn't. So let's dive into that. Right now, if you go online, every single influencer is telling you how easy it is to start this business or that business, or how easy it is to make 100K per month selling crappy products on Amazon FBA. Like it just doesn't work like that. And the reason why is you have to go through a process of understanding how a business actually works and what goes on behind the scenes of a business before you can understand whether or not you can do it solo. I hope that makes sense. Like if we look at the network, it's a community for entrepreneurs, for agency owners that are looking to build an AI automation agency. From the outside, it may look like a simple Discord group. It may look like a really easy to run business that brings in some good cash flow every single month, and it's a light breeze. Anyone can do it. You just need to create content. The reality is we have a bigger team behind the network than we do at Unorthodox. We've got like 12 members of staff sat behind the network that work tirelessly day in, day out to ensure that the systems run, everything is moving, and we can continue bringing people value that are inside of the network, right? And that's something that's often overlooked. And I realized that no one actually talks about this dirty, gritty stuff behind the scenes. They always talk about the front end stuff, you know, the sexy stuff, like how this person's making this much money per month, how this person has scaled an agency to over 500K per month, or how this person's doing $1 million a month with e-commerce. Like No one talks about what goes on behind the scenes. And unfortunately, you aren't that person to make that kind of money because you have no idea how to even structure a business in that way. And that was exactly where I was at. And, over the last 6-7 years, it's essentially where I've honed in my craft. I've become an expert delegator, and that means that I don't have to focus time on building skills that I don't need to know. I can actually just go and hire someone who knows that skill already, and it saves me so much time and so much energy. It means I can focus on the core stuff, the important stuff. At the end of the day, no matter what business I build, every single team member that I hire will be able to complete a task that I can't do, or a task that I don't want to do, right? Like if I was to say, all right, I'm going to go manage the network, or I'm going to go manage Unorthodox, and I'm going to learn how to do the dev work. I'm going to get on the sales calls. I'm going to create the content. I'm also going to do the service delivery. I'm also going to do the team management, the project management. I'm also going to deal with the clients. I'm also going to deal with the invoicing. Like, it's too much. I would literally end up burning out. I'd get like 2 clients in and I'd be like, fuck this is not worth my time. I'd rather go and work at McDonald's, where at least I get a lunch break and I can call in sick one day and still get paid for it, right? Like, that is the honest truth of how it is. So what we need to do is we need to become the manager of our own business, and we actually need to start hiring in team members under us that can handle these day-to-day tasks and help spread out some of the load. Now, if you're first getting started out and you haven't made any money yet, you're probably sat there going, well, Liam, that all sounds well, but how am I going to hire in someone or a developer to complete the work when I haven't even landed a client yet? And the reality is, you don't need to until you've landed a client, because why are you looking to learn how to be a developer if you haven't even mastered the first steps, which is selling and understanding how to package up an offer and actually speak into another human or a business owner to then try to sell them services? So there really is like a discrepancy for most people where they try to jump the gun. They try to be this expert developer and this expert person at service delivery, but they suck at sales. And then there's some people that are really good at sales and they suck at development. But to be honest, I'd much rather suck at development and be good at sales, because that's the first part of the puzzle. That's the key piece of this jigsaw that we now need to focus on to then unlock that second part. And then once we've actually been paid by a client, that is when we can take that money and go and pay someone who is skilled at development to actually build these solutions for the businesses. Or if you are the person in e-commerce, being able to test something out on TikTok organic first before you move into paid ads. And then if you don't know paid ads, you can bring someone in. Once you've already tested the product and it's started to make money, you can then pay someone to do the paid ad section. So the way that you need to look at delegation is it's a way for you to level up the business every single step of the way, every block of the way. And it's not something that you need to do from day one, but it's something that you need to have in your mind to want to be doing as soon as you possibly can. Now, this award behind me there is the ClickFunnels Award, right? So I think this is like year 4 into online business. Found a product on ClickFunnels, and essentially, and by the way, this is 2 years after having like a massive low in the e-com space where I made pretty much no money and burned all profits that I made in the first 2 years. Anyway, so create this product, found it on Etsy, took it onto my own site, had learned a ton of skills on ads. So all I needed to do was get the site set up and run the ads. I didn't want to do any of the service delivery. I didn't want to do any of the admin. So my first priority when I found that this product was working was to bring in a team member. So what actually ended up happening is I would log into my computer every day. I would oversee the ads, and the 2 team members based in the Philippines ran my entire business. And we generated over 2.7 million in just over 7 months. So put that into perspective. Look at the ROI on hiring a team member there that was doing the things that I hated doing and I wasn't good at. Not only did our clients get a better value and a better product at the end of the day, but it also allowed me to buy my own time back to then focus on scaling and building the ads out. Now, if I didn't know about delegation and I was the only one to, do this work and I was the only one to fulfill everything, then at the end of the day, we were doing like 10, 12K a day. And the order volume for that was like 400 orders. So if I was the person to be dealing with 400 separate emails, going out to different customers and responding to support queries, I would lose my mind and it wouldn't have worked the way it worked. So the only reason we was able to scale was because we delegated early and we knew that we had to separate ourselves from that business because we needed to focus on the higher leverage tasks like running the ads and actually filling in the pipeline. And if we look at my agency, that is exactly where we're at right now. Now, I don't want you to get lost in this. I hope you're understanding where I'm at right now, and hopefully you can keep up. But the way that we look at our agency and the way that I structure it is we have different elements, right? We have a sales section, we have a content arm, we have a team management arm, we have project management, we have service delivery, we have our outreach section, we have copywriting, we have social media strategy, we have all of these different systems. And if me and Mark, my co-founder, were to be the ones that were to do all of that work, we would be screwed. We wouldn't be able to do it. So what we do is we look at the systems that need to be in place in order for us to get to that first point, which in your case will be making money from your first client. We build those systems first. We focus our time and our energy on those and making sure that we are actually good at them parts, which is predominantly sales, outreach, packaging up an offer and actually speaking to people. And then once you land that first client, that's when you start to open up other doors into creating content or running ads or, project management and team management. Nothing matters before that first initial sale other than sales and packaging up an offer. Okay. So just make sure you remember that. But what I really want you to do after this video is grab a pen and paper and sit down and draw out boxes. And inside of each box, write each section of the business that you're working on. If it's e-commerce, maybe it's store creation, it's product research, it's product optimization, it's product images, it's SEO, it's ads, it's organic social media, like all of this stuff. Write it all in a box and then mark it in terms of what is the priority, what is top of funnel, and what is going to get you the money, like what is going to actually drive you money into that business. So for me, it's creating content. It's also doing the sales calls. And then after we've made those sales, that's when we start to delegate. So if you was sat there and you're thinking, oh my God, I don't have the money to delegate. I can't do it. It's not going to work because I don't know. I don't have any money. I can't hire anyone. You do that after you've been paid. So it's not a problem. But what you have to realize is business isn't about, treating yourself and upgrading your iPhone or buying a car or buying a fancy watch or buying all these nice clothes as soon as you start to see success. What you need to do is you need to buy time. You need to buy your time back. That's the first investment that you should make in your personal life, right? Like it isn't buying all this fancy stuff. It's buying time back from the business so that you can reinvest that time back into building up that business and to bringing in more money. Only once you've been doing that for a long time and you're comfortable, should you then start to invest into, external things that don't actually bring any value to your life or your business in the long term. Now, you would all know who Henry Ford is, I would hope. Founder of Ford, right? Who would have guessed? He is the perfect example of exactly what I'm talking about. And I kind of see myself in a Henry Ford role, and maybe you will too. So Henry Ford was getting interviewed in his office and someone was asking me, you don't have an education, you don't know about building cars, you're not a mechanic, you don't have an engineering background. Like, how can you make this work? How comes you are the person to build this super successful business being Ford? And what Henry did was Henry had buttons under his desk. And let's I don't know what these exact buttons were, but let's say one button was for sales, one button was for the engineers, one button was for the safety team, one button was for the design team, one button was for his cleaning team, whatever it was. What would happen is if Henry didn't know the answer to something and he needed an answer on sales, he would press the sales button and the expert on sales would come in and give him the answer. And if he needed an answer on the mechanic side of things, he would press the mechanic button and in would walk the mechanic into his office. Now, the key point here is Henry didn't need to know the specifics of how to deliver, his product or how to actually create cars. He just needed to know how to delegate and manage a team that did know how to fill in the gaps and do the things that he didn't know. So this is how you need to start thinking. You need to stop thinking about you doing all the work yourself because it's just not going to work in the long run. And that isn't a business. That's a freelance gig. So if you're building an agency or you're building an e-commerce store, start to think about how you can manage that e-com store or manage that agency rather than working inside of that agency and doing all the delivery yourself. And if you are an agency and you're thinking, well, I can't afford to pay team members even after I've landed some clients, then you're not charging enough. Okay, that's the bottom line. You need to be charging more so that you can afford to hire in talent that then completes that work for you. That is how you leverage money in the right way. And that is honestly the only way you're going to scale an agency. I personally believe if you don't do this, this is how you get caught in the shiny object syndrome. Because what will happen is you'll land a couple of clients. You'll realize how hard it is to manage the projects, manage active clients, and deliver on clients whilst also keeping pipelines alive and doing your outreach still. You'll get overwhelmed. And then you'll see a YouTube video of someone being like, SMMA or IGPPA or DBDBDBA is the best business model. And you're like, fuck it, I'm going to try it because I can't do this anymore. It's killing me. When reality is the only thing you need to learn and to be able to master was actually delegation. That is what you was lacking. It wasn't the understanding of that business model, or it wasn't that vehicle or model itself. It was your inability to delegate. And a lot of people get really defensive over it. They're like, I'm the best at this. I need to be able to do this. It's my business. Fuck that. Like, that is not how you want to be. If you look at all the team members that I work with, every single one of them are better than me at something. And that is why they're on my team. So you need to shift your mindset and start thinking like that. Before I wrap up this video, I want to give you some feedback in terms of how you can actually go and find different team members or people that could help you with specific tasks in your business. Now, there really is no wrong or right way of handling this. And again, it just takes experience and spending time looking for good talent and speaking to different people. Now, you could go to Fiverr. That's where I found my first contractors that helped me with that drop shipping business. I also found Filipino VAs on Upwork that took a ton of the admin tasks off of me for that business. Yeah, I pointed it. Nice. To that business, and they handled the whole thing. That was just on Upwork. I just literally interviewed enough people, spoke to them, got them on a call, paid them enough money so that they actually put in the work as well. Like, this is something that a lot of people think, they're like, how can I get the cheapest talent? When the reality is if you reprioritize and say, how can I get the best talent, and how can I make enough money so that I can pay the best talent to stay with me and actually want to deliver something good? That is how you build a good business, right? So again, another mindset shift you need to take. So look, you can use those platforms. You can jump into the network, which is our digital community of agency owners. There's so many devs inside of the community that are desperate to find salespeople that they can then partner up with and work with. Now, you may only partner up with on a subcontractor basis, or maybe you actually want to step in and you want to find a business partner. At the end of the day, in Unorthodox, it's me and it's Mark. Mark is my co-founder, and we complement each other. We have different skill sets. Now, I would much rather have a smaller slice of the pie rather than no pie at all. And what I mean by that is, if you are going out and you're doing it all yourself and you're making no money because you can't do it, then I would much rather have a business partner that allows me to go and sign clients, that allows me to spend time on the stuff that's important, and I can actually then split the profits. At least I actually have something at the end of the day, and I'm actually making money. So look, delegate, reinvest that time that you buy back into the business, into the important stuff, into the top of funnel stuff that's actually going to start making you money. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need to know everything. You can hire people that know everything. That is the key point I'm trying to make here. So look, go out there, bring some cash and get hiring. If you do like this type of content, let me know down below in the comments and smash a like on the video. I would be so appreciative. But other than that, I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.